What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel. Week 7 preview predictions wrapping up today. Got 3 more for you. We're going to start with another matchup out of the SEC. It's the Missouri Tigers going on the road to face the Kentucky Wildcats in Lexington. Both of these teams coming off of a loss from last week, and both of them are going to try to look to avoid a 2-game slide that could be detrimental to the rest of their season. We're going to preview this one, talk about it in just a little bit, but before we dive in to what should be a fun one from Lexington, you guys know I got to thank all of you for the support the channel has seen as of late. It's been crazy to me to continue to show your support. Hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you know when videos get uploaded, but there are more ways than that to help me support my channel. That's just the biggest way, but hey, you're doing one right now, supporting the channel just by watching the video, and you can do more by liking, commenting, sharing, and really anything else you guys are willing and or able to do to help me support my channel. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to dive on into this SEC East showdown. The Missouri Tigers have been quite the surprise so far this year, and the Kentucky Wildcats have been good in a lot of areas. They've been improved in a lot of areas, but both of these two teams coming off, in their eyes, very disappointing performances from last week. They're going to look to bounce back here as they get to play each other. This should be a fun one in Lexington as we take a look at the stats from both of these teams. Now, the Missouri Tigers no longer ranked in the AP poll. I do believe that they are 25th in the coaches poll, and they are still ranked in my personal poll as well. But when we take a look at this offense for the Missouri Tigers, quietly to some, but loudly to many, especially those all around Columbia, Missouri, Brady Cook has been one of the better quarterbacks in the nation so far this year. He has 1,879 yards, 13 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, 71% completion percentage in 6 games so far this season. His favorite target, you know him, you love him, the star sophomore wide receiver Luther Burden, in 54 catches, has 793 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's one of the leading receivers in the nation as well, but don't sit there and think that this is a team that can only throw the ball. No, they got some really good weapons in the backfield as well. Cody Schrader and Nathaniel Pete are both back there, and both are running are both running really, really well for this Missouri Tiger team. The one thing that you can say about Missouri that you would like to see get better is the offensive line, right? This is an offense that can go drive down the field and can score points in bunches, and it starts with the connection between Brady Cook and Luther Burden, and they don't really turn the football over. Only 5 turnovers in 6 games. That's under a turnover per game. You would like to see this team get a little bit better on third down, and you would like to see the offensive line do a better job at protecting Brady Cook. Again, he's been sacked 11 times so far this season. That's a number that definitely has to improve, especially when you take a look at the Kentucky defensive front that has 14 sacks on the year, and we'll dive into all that here in just a little bit, but we're going to dive over to the Missouri defensive side first, and this is a defense that definitely has had their struggles here in the past couple of weeks, specifically when you go back and look last week at what they did against LSU. Now, first of all, the LSU offense, very, very tough to stop, but this is a defense that didn't really have a great day at all. However, overall on the year, they've been a pretty solid run defense. They've been a pretty solid defense on third down. The pass defense could use a little bit of work. However, when you take a look at the likes of Chris Abrams, Drain does have 8 pass defended, 3 picks. He's by far been the best defensive back for this team. The rest of the team around him, or I should say the rest of the defensive backs around him definitely have some room to improve, but this is also a defensive line that has done a very, very good job at being able to create pressure to opposing quarterbacks, which is going to come in very key here in this game, especially when you consider that this is a Kentucky offensive line that, look, last year definitely had a whole bunch of struggles. This year, it is much, much, much better. They've only allowed 7 sacks so far this year. That is just over a sack allowed per game, but the problems with this Kentucky offense do not lie with the offensive line right now. It kind of lies in with their quarterback. Now, Devin Leary has shown some spots this year where he can be very, very good. Overall on the season, has 1,257 yards, 12 touchdowns, but where these numbers come into play is his completion percentage is not even at 55%, it's 54.8%, and he's thrown 5 picks so far this season. So you'd like to see that interception number be cut back a little bit, and you'd like to see Devin Leary make a little bit more better decisions more often than not, right? That 54.8%, Devin Leary, again, has shown some really good moments this year, but he's kind of struggled at times. I have no problem with this run game. Ray Davis is running out of his absolute mind, has 7.2 yards per carry. You go back to that insane game he had against the Florida Gators. He's been running really, really well. It's an offense that I think can move the ball. I think can have some good success in this game, but Devin Leary has got to clean up that decision-making. However, if you want to look for a game for Devin Leary to kind of get back on track, this very well could be the game where Devin Leary could do just that. Now let's move over to the Kentucky defensive side, which, okay, you'd like to see a couple things improve here as well. Specifically, that secondary. Again, this is the defense that got torched against Georgia. I mean, they just got torched in general, offensively, defensively. But talking about the defense on the ground, through the air, no part of this Kentucky defense was working last week. And this is still a very, very lethal Missouri offense. A lot of people may not realize that. This is the Missouri offense that is still very, very lethal. So you have to be able to key in on every single part of this attack that, my apologies, Missouri is going to bring. And there have got to be some things that improve, specifically the third down defense. Missouri is not that great already on third downs, not even at 40%. Kentucky is allowing 44% of third, or allowing opponents to convert on 44% of third down. They've got to win that battle on third down. I have no doubt that Kentucky will be able to win the line of scrimmage. They're only allowing 92 rush yards here, so they're really going to be able to key in on what Brady Cook and Luther Burden are doing there with the pass game. It's also Kentucky defense that has forced 10 turnovers so far on the year. That'll come in handy here, especially against the Missouri offense, that you're probably going to have to force a turnover or two out of them instead of just coming up with a takeaway, if that made any sort of sense. But that's going to go ahead and lead on into my what to watch for, just some things that I think you should keep in mind while you are watching this game. A little bit different of a what to watch for today, and we'll talk about why here in a second. You can probably already see why, but we are going to start with the Missouri Tigers, as they are the visiting team here. Cook is going to look for Burden early and often. This is definitely a Missouri team that is going to realize, and I think realize here pretty on that, hey, some of these Missouri running backs here in this game, Schrader and Pete, are going to have some pretty good moments today, but more often, or some pretty good moments on Saturday, but more often than not, this is a Kentucky defensive line that's going to be able to get into the backfield really, really quickly and be able to slow down whatever Missouri's going to cook up on the ground. So Brady Cook at quarterback is going to need to look for Luther Burden early and often to test this Wildcat secondary and see the level of competition that they have going on out there, because that connection has worked all year long. It's going to continue to work in this game. Can Kentucky shut it down, and can Missouri take advantage of that? You also have to be able to control the line of scrimmage, especially offensively. It's a Missouri offensive line that needs to take control, needs to limit what Kentucky's defensive front is going to be able to do. And like I just talked about, right, you have to be able to open up things for this run game. You have to be able to protect Brady Cook and give him time to find a Luther Burden and some of these other very, very talented wide receivers that Missouri has on its roster. We are going to skip over the last bullet point. We're going to talk about it for both teams in a minute. So let's move over to the Kentucky Wildcats side. This could be a game, again, as I stated earlier, this could be the game that wakes Devin Leary up, and I do believe that Devin Leary's completion percentage is going to look a whole lot better in this game, but he cannot throw picks. This is a Missouri defense that does not force a lot of takeaways. Again, you go back to that last slide, only 4 turnovers on the season. Now, they have all been picks. Missouri has not recovered a fumble for a turnover yet this year, so Kentucky has really got to hold on to the ball. Devin Leary has to be smart. He cannot turn the football over. He cannot do it. This is the Missouri offense that is very lethal. They will take advantage of those opportunities. They haven't really had the chances to do that yet this year. They will if they get the opportunity to in this game. So if you're Kentucky, hey, back to what we said about Missouri controlling the line of scrimmage, I trust that Kentucky is going to do that a little bit more. This offensive line has been really, really good in run blocking and in pass protection, but you got to set the tone with Ray Davis and the running backs. Kentucky's going to have to run, both teams are going to have to run really well here to be able to win this game. It could come down to who runs the football better. That is, if Devin Leary can keep up with the pace and play of Brady Cook, especially with some of the weapons that he has on the outside. But the last bullet point for both of these teams, and you go back to last week, both of these defenses just did not play their best game. Both these defenses gave up a lot of points, a lot of yards. In fact, I believe, if I'm doing my math right, these are two defenses that gave up 100 total points combined last week. 51 from Kentucky against Georgia and 49 from Missouri against LSU. So these are two defenses that are going to be looking to bounce back, two defenses that are going to play very, very aggressive, and two defenses that are pretty good at generating pressure to opposing quarterbacks. So whichever defense is able to make the stop and is able to play better, probably going to have a better shot here to win this game. And I just believe that is the Kentucky Wildcats. I believe that Kentucky, look, this is going to be a phenomenal game, and I'm really, really split here because I know I trust the Missouri Tiger offense. I trust Brady Cook, Luther Burden, and this stable of running backs a little bit better. Now, I do trust Ray Davis better than the running backs over there, but as a whole, I trust this Tiger offense better. I just trust this Kentucky defense better. I trust their offensive line better. I think Kentucky is going to be able to control the line of scrimmage here in this game, come up with a couple key defensive stops. Devin Lear and the offense will do enough to pull out the win in Lexington. Should be a fun one. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And hey, as always, remember to play hard but tailgate harder. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye.